Hey YouTube, what's up? Haven't made a video in a while. I'm here in my office. So this, I guess, would be here in my office number 7. And we've had a few things go on last couple days. I didn't make a video yesterday because I did have an interview. And I've been going through the, I'm in the second round interview process for two large investment banks that, you would have heard of. So these are global investment banks. And trying to leverage the experience I have in the 7 years of banking. And just wanted to tell you guys, it's prepare for these calls. Each of them were pretty easy. They didn't ask me a lot of tough questions. In fact, hardly any questions at all. I kind of just did all the talking. So be ready to tell them about your experience, who you are, why they should be interested in hiring you, and just play up all those key accomplishments and achievements you've made. Like they wanted to know why I was leaving. I left my prior employer. I had told them it was coming down to advancement and being passed up on promotions for a couple of years running while still achieving high levels of work success. And I was basically acting at a level higher than what I was at, doing presentations to regulators and things like that. So I kept playing up that regulator thing because the one thing that all these companies have in common is they're all regulated by the Office of the Comptroller, of the Currency, the OCC, and the Fed, the Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago. So when they hear that kind of thing, they're happy to hear that because they're like, "Have you ever dealt with high level executives?" I says, "Yes, all the time. When we're closing out audit reports and issuing audits, it always has to go to the a C-level executive, high-level person in the bank." I think what I'm telling them is what they want to hear. One of the positions is global professional practices, and if you're not familiar with internal audit, that is basically the auditors of the auditors. So you might even argue it's an even more, might be less thankless because we're trying to help the audit department function in accordance with OCC and Fed guidelines and making sure that they're best in practice. So maybe it'll probably be a good opportunity for me to do some teaching, and it's kind of the way we're doing this right now. But it's going to be more in a controlled manner, and I think it's going to be good for me. The other position is more in third-party risk management. I've mentioned I have a huge amount of information on third-party risk management that I've worked on, MRAs and MRIAs. Those are matters requiring attention and matters requiring immediate attention. When the regulator comes in and finds problems in your third-party risk management program, you better have a plan in place to remediate it. And I did it from an audit perspective, which in these banks they do a 3 lines of defense model. The first line of defense is the business and sometimes business and control managers. The second line of defense are second line functions that set policy, such as third party risk management, and then the third line is audit. Then outside audit is external audit and the regulators doing their own reviews. So that's what the second job entails. It would be a good break away from audit, but part of me is more interested in I'm interested in both positions. So they're both out of New York City. So guys, if you're trying to do your job search and you're not seeing a lot in your local hometown, remember it's a global economy now. People work remotely. I worked remotely for 7 years, and I said to them, they said once when you initially get onboarded and start the job, you'll have to come into New York City and be in there more often, and then once you get settled in, there'll be the opportunity to work from home. So that's what I'll probably do. Take one of these jobs, and depending on what it pays, I could be able to pay for my home here in Buffalo, New York, and then pay for I'm going to need him to compensate me for the travel that it's going to take a plane back and forth, several times a week, coming home on weekends, and where am I going to stay when I'm in Manhattan, right? So I'll be working in Manhattan, so I'll be looking for something close by, and then maybe if we stay in the New York City area and it turns into a long-term opportunity, maybe I'll eventually sell this house and end up in Long Island or something. But I don't want to give up things like a tennis court and a pool. I like having all this land. So no, I'm not going to give that up, guys. But you got to make yourself mobile. So if you like this video and you want to hear more about what's going on with me, I think I'm gonna keep you up to date, guys, on what's going on. Again, I'm in second round interviews at 2 companies, and then there's a third company that's a consulting role that I was talking to a lot before the holiday, and I'm supposed to be hearing from them. So that's really 3 companies. So one is a global bank, one is a global investment banking firm, and the other one is a Big 4 audit firm. So wish me luck, guys, and if you like videos like this, just subscribe. There'll be links here at the end of this video on some of the prior Here in My Office series. So if you like these style of videos, stay tuned, guys. Okay, thanks.